Welcome back to the start of turn 11. I've just done a bit of cleaning up. I forgot to take the planes away from these Falklands, so they've gone back into their boxes. Moved on to game turn 11 here, which means the Iwo Jima is in play. Now, I've just been looking at the rules to see when it comes into play, and it's placed on the turn track during the task force phase, but it says it's then placed, so it's a bit vague, but as far as I can see, once you're into, and I may be wrong, but I'm placing it in the exclusion zone with its Harriers now. I was wondering whether I did it at the end of the task force phase. It's not very apparent from what I can say. So we've got these going in. So we've got 4, as you obviously they've got the invincible markings on them. And as luck would have it, we've got the same initials anyway, Iwo Jima and the invincible. So those are related to the Iwo Jima. Again, possibly I'm playing that wrong. I'm playing it the way I see it to be. And I could have looked on Board Game Geek, really. The way I looked at it is, I'm not going to win this game as it is. And there's another one I've just missed. I'll put back in the... So, let's go on with that. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is roll for the weather. And it's a 7. And we're on turn 11. A 7 is rain and snow, which, as we've seen, does restrict some of the Argentine plains. We've not got the SAS until turn 14. Diplomacy. I'm not going to put diplomacy on the board because we may attack this turn. It's probably unlikely, this one. Is it unlikely? No, we may well be attacking there. So, straight on to the group host phase. Let's roll 2 dice to see if any appear. A 5 and a 2. So the 5, nothing will appear because there's 2 there. The 2, 1 at the group out there. And we can't attack them because of that ship being there. We can, however, attack that. Because we now... move on. We actually, just one thing to mention, if all 10 groupos are in C zones at this groupos point, one of the stacks on the Falklands must turn to the outer supply side. Well, we're not there. We're at 8, and I'm hoping to get rid of some. So we'll leave the ace one, but we're gonna put Iwo Jima there. Now we do also need to try and get 3 air superiority areas here as well this turn. Otherwise, we'll have somebody out of supply as well. So there's a lot of planes, a lot of groupos on that board. So I'm going to try and get rid of this as well with the Hermes, because the target sector will be sector A. The one with the most ground forces. Then we need the 2 escorts in the landing zone to provide supply. And away we go, which will leave us 5 planes to achieve superiority. Do we want to do that? Not very many. But if we can get rid of that, we're getting rid of 2 planes that would otherwise go there. So let's go for it. We've got the Chilean radar, so we need a very bad throw if we're not going to win this one. We're going to roll 3 dice, and we've got a +5 modifier for the Chilean radar this turn, which should be better. And it's a good job we did have it, because that's a 6. Plus the 5 brings it up to 11, so we have done it. The Grupo goes back to the box. The Iwo Jima is in the repair. one of these in the repair. Argentine repair pool. It's one with the roundel, which helps. And the BBC News goes up by 1. So up to 12. We're slowly climbing our way back up there. And then, no modifier on this next one, the Hermes. I've got 4 planes on there. No. I had a sudden hope that I miscounted. Let's see if we can get rid of another group. 14. Yes, we can. Same result. So that group out has been good. Goes there. The Hermes goes there. The BBC News goes up another one. And I'm just going to take that one that turned upside down. No cheating involved there, because that's a rubbish one to have in the repair pool. I want something better than that. So, the task force phase is now complete. So we go on to the Argentine air assets. So we roll 1 die to see where they end up. We've got a 6. So there is nothing in the 6th one. So we move up here. So the first ones to be deployed will be in Sector B. 4 planes in Sector B. With roundels there. Now the next ones are in Sector D, another 4 planes there. 2 roundels, and there's a Donna DA one. And finally, with 4 planes in Sector E, we've only got 1 that we can put there. So that one goes there. Now, where do we put our 5 planes? Do I try and get 3 air superiority? I'm not going to get it. Not going to get it. So what I am going to do is just, you see, I could put 1 there and nothing will get into that, nothing will move into that one. So I'd have superiority. That one's only got 1 plane in it, but you're going to get +5, so it's going to have 9 value. And so it would cost me at least 2 7s, and it would be poor odds of doing anything with that. And it would leave me weak in here, because it'd leave me with just... No. But of course, what we could potentially do is put the 2 ace units over there and then fight that and then move them to there. But if they don't stay on the map, if we get a bad roll there, they then can't come to help here. The chances are some units will move into there, and these units, the ground force, end up pinned down. So no, we're going with all 5 in Sector A. We now go to the Argentine junta phase to see where the roundels go. And it's a 2, which is the Navy plan, which I think might be good. Yeah. Navy Admiral Anaya acquiesces in the current plan, leave Argentine planes where they are. We still could end up with some over here, but I think we'll have decent odds if we do. So straight onto the Argentine reaction. And it's 1. Oh, this is good news. Puerto Argentino move all eligible planes to Sector E. Eligible planes, so we've got more than 2 in this area, so the highest, we'll leave the weakest 2. I'm going to move the 2 rounder ones. Doesn't really matter which. That one actually shouldn't be on the board because it's rain and snow. Argentine A4 planes return to the mainland cup, so that one is not on the board. And the Donna DA ace moves to there as well. So we've ended up with no fighting. we've got air superiority in sector A. They've got air superiority in sector B, D and E. So that's going to hit us. We're not going to be able to move all our units. So that is the air phase. Now we're going to the ground war phase. So let's look at supply effect. If the BBC news level is 7 or lower, flip 1 stack to out of supply. No, it's not. It's at 11. It's at 13. If it's an air turn, which it is, and the British do not have air superiority in at least 3 air sectors, 1 face-up stack of British ground units in a camp on the East Falkland map must also be flipped to its out of supply side. Okay. I'm going to flip this stack because we're waiting for reinforcements, hopefully, to help us with this stack. And also, it's on camp number 10. This one's on 13, that's on 11, so it's got further to go. Sorry, it hasn't got as far to go, so that's not going to move this turn. Now, San Carlos can also suffer from airstrikes. If we don't have air superiority into air sector A, and there are any British escorts in the San Carlos landing box, we have got air superiority in sector A. So that's fine. So we've just got 1 out of supply. We can move these until they reach a block. So as you remember, a block is an Argentine unit. If you move into a sector where there is air superiority, that's classed as a block and a mountainous area. So no helicopters yet, they can move 2. So this stack is going to move to Letterbox Hill. This stack can move 2, it's going to go to 12 and 11, where it's stopped for various reasons. It's stopped because there's a unit there. It's also stopped because we're in air sector B and they have air superiority. The Pucara does not count as giving them air superiority. Once we move into that one with these, that will get rid of that Pucara as well. I've not put that on the map, but we do know that that was the target air sector. So 1, 2. So we now have a battle. Let's have a look at what we do with this battle. We need to look at ground combat modification because as it stands, our units, the Gurkhas are 3, 42nd Commando is 5, and 45th Commando is 6. So we're on 14. The Argentinians are on 10. So we have an advantage currently, but we have not finished. Modifications. If there's a Pucara in the air sector, +1. Yes, they do have one. To the side with air superiority, +2. They have air superiority. To the side defending in mountains, it's not a mountainous area. If you have naval gunfire support, no we don't. KLF isn't on the stack. It's not fog, it's not squalls. BBC's news level is not higher than 16, it's not lower than 6. Diplomacy marker is not on the map, and the Pope marker is not on the map. So the 2 modifications add to +3 for the Argentines. So the British are on 14, the Argentinians are on 13. So let's roll. We're going to roll first for the British. 14 + 4, we're on 18. Let's roll for the Argentinians. 12 + 6, 18. Sorry, no, 13 + 6, 19. Miscounted there nearly. So the Argentine unit has 1. So let's go to the results table. If the Argentines win the battle, the British stack retreats 1 camp towards San Carlos and ends its move for the turn. Reduce the BBC news number by -5. So we're back to 12. Damn. And -5. Damn. Doesn't move to 0. that's the army phase over. We now roll 2 dice to see where the Argentine warships are. Double 1, they're off the board with the doubles. So we can get rid of those. We have a bit more leeway next turn as who we attack. The other good thing, if there are any Argentine ships at sea, flip 1 face-up stack of British ground units in a camp to its out-of-supply side. Which I was going to say seems a bit pointless because we've just done the army turn, but if in a headline phase some units, some of these Blue Star units can move, if they move into a stack with one of my stacks in, camp with one of my stacks in, then battle can take place. So does it still really matter? I don't know, there may be a headline thing that I'm not thinking about, but no, can't see what difference that would make there. So we're on to the repair. Argentine parts shortage. There aren't more than 3 Argentine planes in the repair pool. There are only 2. And if the current weather is rain or snow, all planes still in their respective repair pools return to use except for 1. Well, there's 2. So what I'm going to do is roll the die, and on a 1 or a 3, it will be the Roundel unit with number 6. On a 4 and a 6, it'll be the A4. And it's the A4 unit, which is better for us. So that unit goes back into there. I've missed out the reset phase as well, I'm afraid. So any British stack which is currently out of supply is now unflipped. This is why. So sorry, the reset phase should have happened before the warship rolling. So the reset phase is where you turn this one back to in supply. So if the warships had been on the board, which happens next, and I've turned it to out of supply, which obviously has not affected this turn, that's not, the out of supply stays in place until after the next ground phase. So I get that now. So we've done the repair side for the planes. Political factors, Pope and diplomacy marker are taken off now, and also the Chilean radar one, which was very helpful this turn. Over to the headline phase. Let's see what we roll here. And it's a 1. So, no. I'm just making a note of where we are on the ground forces on my little table there. So we rolled a 1, so total with the turn 11, we're on 12. Let's have a look. I've got some new ones on this one. So sub threatens carriers, which we've not had before. The Argentine submarine San Luis is reported in the area. Move 1 British carrier, your choice, from the total. Now the ships should have been back in the reset phase, and they should. So we move 1 carrier, from the TZ box to the trawler box. It can't be used next turn. Britain launched some 200 anti-sub torpedoes during the Falklands, never hitting a sub, but killing numerous whales. So it doesn't matter which one really, because your planes still stay on the board, and they can be used, even though the Iwo Jima's there. No. That's not a great start, not the end of the world. US sends mixed signals. Factionalism between the pro-British Secretary of State Alexander Haig and the pro-Argentine UN Ambassador John Kirkpatrick infuriates British Foreign Office and baffles word opinion. Roll 1 die for each faction. If Haig's roll is higher, add his roll to the BBC News. Kirkpatrick's is higher, subtract her roll from the BBC News. The tie goes Britain's way. So we're going to do Alexander Haig, pro-British first. and it's a 4. Now we're going to do Kirkpatrick and the anti-British, or the pro-Argentine, and it's a 1. So we got a 4 for Hague, so we move BBC News back up 4, which gets rid of most of the 5 that we lost there. Now, Kelper Logistics Force is the next one, another new one. The Kelper Logistics Force, if the British player controls any settlements, this is the Kelper Logistics Force, see that? And we do control settlement, do we not? No, we don't, I don't think. No, a settlement is with that little symbol there. So if we'd won that battle, we would have controlled the settlement. So we could have deployed the KLF, which means when you've got the KLF, you can move 3 camps instead of 2. Place it in any stack of British ground units, or you may move it to a different British stack if it's already on the map. Well, no settlements. It's not coming on the board. Ayo Gurkhali. Now this does work well, I think. So the first time we rolled it, the Gurkha moved to Ascension Island, from Ascension Island to a stack of ground units. Every subsequent time it is rolled, Argentine troops are panicked by rumours of Gurkha brutality, which the British wisely did nothing to dispel. If there is a Blue Star Argentine army in a camp adjacent to the Gurkhas, retreat the Argentine army 1 camp or back into Stanley as necessary. So, no, I did think for a second it was going to move this one because the Gurkhas are there, but it's not. And finally, a by-election tests Tory's popularity. Add the number of civilian settlements under British control, 0, to the BBC News level. So, no effect. So if we'd have had some, so if we'd taken that, that would have moved up 1. So finally to the housekeeping, these units go back into here. That's all of them. These ones go back onto the stack there. And what I didn't do is put the escorts back on there. So we move on to game turn number 12. Go straight on with the weather. And we've got a 6 and it's turn 12, so a 6 is fair weather. What I really need is fog or squalls. I need no air so that we've got that they haven't got air superiority, but no luck. So we've got nothing coming onto the board, none the SAS, the STUFT, nothing affecting anything. Diplomacy, I'm not going to try diplomatic feint, so nothing else to do on this turn. Straight onto the group host phase, where we roll 2 dice, see where they go, a 3 and a 4. The 4 already has 2 in place, so nothing there, so 1 in the 3. I'm going to put the escorts over here to prevent out of supply. And the Hermes, I'm going to put him there because, do I put him there? No, I'm going to put him there. Let's see, because if we can take this one out, potentially there's no planes in air sector C, and by putting 1 plane there, I've got air superiority. So bear in mind, I've got to try and get 3 air superiority. Let's see what I can do. Roll my 3 dice. And it's an 11. Which is good news for us. 11 to 15, Group O retreats under British AA fire. So the Group O goes back into the mainland. The The Hermes goes into that box. BBC News moves up 1 to 13. And one of these units goes into the purple. That's the Group House phase done. Straight onto the Argentine air assets. We're going to roll 1 dice. Target air sector is still A because that's where the most British units are. And it's not the number of stacks, it's the most ground units, so it depends on how many you've got in the stack as well. Could really do with these, getting a headline event to get these 2 on the board soon as well. So where we start. So we've got a 3, and a 3 is there where there is no sector. So we start with sector D, 4 planes in sector D. 1, done a DA. 2, 3, 4. Then we've got 4 planes in sector E. And finally, we should have 4 planes in sector B, but there's only 1 plane left. It's there. So we've now got a number of units. So we're going to try and get air superiority in all 3 sectors here. So I'm going to go there for the first one with just 1, because there's no way any Argentine planes will move into that area. This is where we risk it, because I'm putting 1 plane in there now. With the modifiers, it'll be outgunned, but I'm putting 6 planes in this one. So we've got a score of 42, plus we've got some modifiers to come. Because as long as I win, then when these fight, these 2 planes can go into that sector as well. So we've got a chance, jumping my guns here, but we've got a chance of superiority in 3 air sectors. So, the junta phase for the roundel planes. 6. Air Force Plan T. Lamidoso pursues a compromise plan. All roundel planes on East Falkland move to the target air sector. Oh no. And there are, that's not too bad, there are 2 roundel planes. Oh, 3 roundel planes. So they go there. So we're in a fight. Could get worse with the Argentine reaction if it's not a 1 or a 2. It's a 4. Move all eligible planes to sector A. Eligible planes, the Donna DA moves to sector A. And we have to leave 2 weakest planes to retain air support, so that one goes to there. So that's not looking good at the minute. So for Argentine ground support, well, they get ground support for each ground unit they have, plus a Picara. Well, there's no Picara in sector A, and they've got no ground support, got no ground forces. The British receive +1 level of ground support for each British held civilian settlement. We don't have one. If they have naval gunfire support in sector E, no. +1 if there are any British ground forces anywhere in the air sector. Yes, there are. So we get 4. So we have got 2, 3, 4, 6, 42. We've got 46. And they've got 27, 37. So we're 100%. Not what I wanted. So there's a chance we could be pinned down here, 100%. 4, 5 or 6 would help us. Yeah, 5 or 6 desperately is needed. But let's see. A 3. So a 3, 100%, is the attacker breaks off. And the attackers break off towards Stanley. So this is a bit of a nightmare. No pursuit. What it does mean is we are in another battle here. And we have 1, 2, 3. We should have 7 there. So 49 we've scored. They also, for every unit they've got, plus the power of the move up 1, well, they've got the maximum of 2. So 4 plus 5. They're on 9. We're on 49. So at least we are at 400%, which is the maximum for this battle. So hopefully we can at least put one in the repair pool. And it's a 6, which is defender eliminated. So that goes there. And you'll see what a disaster this is in a moment. But that's the superiority done. So let's have a look. We've got the Argentinians in Sector A. We've got superiority in Sector B. We've got superiority in C. And they've got it in D and E. So we don't have the 3 that we needed. More importantly, we don't have it in Air Sector A, where all my ground forces are. Ground war phase. If the BBC News level is 7 or lower, it's not. We don't have air superiority in at least 3 air sectors, so we turn one over. It really doesn't matter which I turn over, as you will see. So we now try and move. Yomping. A stack cannot yomp if Argentina has air superiority in the sector where it begins its move. Essentially, it's pinned down. So we are pinned down. We can't move the ground forces at all this turn. So that is the end of the ground forces phase for this turn because of these. We go to the reset phase. Any British stack which is currently out of supply is now unflipped and turned face up. Although they're pinned down, they're not classed as out of supply, so we then move all the warships back. We'll move these back. Ready for next turn. We now roll for the warships, the Argentine warships, see if they go back on the board. 4 and a 2. Yes, they do. I'm tempted to look at bringing the escorts, using one of them as a sub, or allowing them as a sub. I'll talk about it in a bit to try and take out a warship next turn, because this is going to be a problem because it's out of. I'm going to constantly have somebody out of supply every time they're on the board. Finally, see if there are now any Argentine ships at sea. If so, flip only one face-up stack of British ground units in a camp to its out supply side. So you see why that's a problem, having those 2 there. And I'm going to turn again. I'm going to turn this stack over to out of supply. It's fair weather. We haven't got more than 3 of those planes, so these 3 all go back into the cup. Headline phase. It's a 3. Plus the 12. For the turn number, we've now got 15 on the board. Don't think there's going to be a lot. There's going to be something that helps us on there. So the EC NATO allies. So let's see which of our partners helps us. I think they're all positives, these, but 3. It's the, oh no, they're not all good. So Italy's coalition rejects economic sanctions. Return 1 random Argentine plane from the discard pile to the Argentine mainland. So we've got 6 planes, so 5 planes in here in the discard pile. I'm just going to and that one is going back into the cup. BBC leaks the MOD secrets, so as long as it's not a 6, we're all right. and it's not a 6, so there's no effect. Io Gurkali, with that's on the board. We saw last turn, because there's no, it's only affects us when there's a blue unit. Sidewinders, there's no Harriers at Ascension Island, so nothing's affected there. Pinochet's Revenge, that's a good one. If the headlines die roll was even, it was a 3, so it's odd. If there's any sea zone containing at least one Argentine Grupo, the British player may place the Chilean radar marker in it. Now, we can't attack those two, so it's going to have to go into that one. Is that? Is there any others? Yeah, the Papal Visit, that's already on the board. That doesn't happen. Wets undermine Mrs. Thatcher. So she's challenged in the cabinet. Subtract 3 from the news. 1, 2, 3. So we're down to 10. And we are now going to turn 13. Oh, no, we're not. We're doing my favourite forgetting of not putting these back in the cup. I'm going to do another turn. So we can get through another turn quite quickly if we can. These go back here as well. We have to decide what we're doing with some of these. What are we going to... Anyway, turn 11. Not turn 11, turn 13. So, first thing we do is roll for the weather. It's a 9. Finally, we've got some luck here. Squalls, no air. So we've got no air this turn. Now, because there's nothing, no air going on the map, you're still doing it. You can still attack the Grupos with the carriers. Anyway, let me just move. It's the Grupos phase first. So we roll 2 dice to see what Grupos appear. A 3 and a 5. Now 5's already at maximum. And a 3 is there. So it's the task force phase. Okay. First things first, I'm going to do the Iwo Jima. So I'm looking for the ones that say HI for the Iwo Jima. So we've got 3 stacks. And let's turn that so you can see it easier. 3 stacks there. And the Hermes, 3 stacks there. So that's also going to attack in that Grupo as well. And I'm going to try and take out an Argentine. If any Argentine ships, the cruiser, Belgrano, or carrier, are in sea zones, a British player may use a submarine to torpedo one of them. There are no sub-counts, but you must move 1 escort currently in the TEZ to the trawler box to show a division of resources. So I'm going to do that. So what that one goes there. I'm going to do this first. That escort I'm going to put in the landing zone, and I will explain that in a second as well. On a 1, 2, 3 or 4, the target evades the British submarines. Remains at sea and can be attacked again by sub next turn. I'm going to try for the Belgrano, which historically was sunk, so we're going to try it. So we need a 5 or a 6. The benefit of taking out one of these is it scares the other ship, so the other ship will then tend to spend a lot more time and in the mainland. Depending on it's a 4, so we've missed. So no effect, fortunately. Now, we've talked about needing 2 escorts to avoid 2 stacks being out of supply. We've got 1 escort. If there's only 1 escort at San Carlos, then 1 British stack of ground units must be flipped to out of supply. But a unit already flipped can count as one of the units. Well, we've already got one one stack flipped. So that can count as the stack that's flipped because we've only got one. So we don't have to flip anything else. So let's go on to the attacks on the two Grupo. So Iwo Jima first, +5 for both for the Chilean radar. 8, 9, 10, +5. It's 15. So it's the Grupo retreats under British AA fire. So the Grupo goes back there. The Iwo Jima goes there. British News goes up by 1. And 1 unit in the repair pool. Now it's the Hermes doing the same with the +5 modifier. Now, this is something we haven't had before. It's an 18. Chaff deflects Exocet into the ground. So you place the Grupo in the mainland. So everything with regards to the plane and the Grupo is the same. British ship goes in the trailer box, but we reduce the Exocet total by 1 and we raise BBC News by +5, unless they've got fewer than 2 Exocets, which they haven't. They've got 3. So we reduce that down to 2. The News goes up by 5, so it goes up to 16, which is the highest we've been for a very long time. The Hermes goes in there. The Grupo is back, so we've got rid of all of them in E. And one of these. Now the air phase, so we've done the task force phase. The air phase, if you can see the little inverted triangle there, that means no air, so it doesn't happen. Anything with that little sign on it in the rule book means it doesn't happen. So the air battles don't happen, nothing happens, straight onto the ground war. If the BBC News level is 7 or lower, flip a stack. It's not, it's 16. If it's an air turn, it's not. The San Carlos airstrikes, potential airstrikes, doesn't happen because it's not an air turn. So we now move units, and they can move fairly freely. They can move up to 2. The outer supply one can't move, but they're both going to be blocked straight away. So we're going to move 1 to there and 1 to there. So let's try with these again. So what advantages have we got? There are 2. Sorry, I'm doing an air turn with that. So we've got, as we had last time, I think 11. We've got 14 against 10. But I think the modifiers are going to change it. There's a Picara +1. It doesn't have air superiority, so, and the weather is squalls. Yes, so we're +1. And the BBC News level is 16 or higher, so we're +3. And they're +1. Post it on the map. Excellent. So we're actually on 17, they're on 11. I'm not even going to roll, because if they roll a 6, they move on to 17, which we're already on. We roll a die. The minimum we can get is 1, so we're on 18. So we have won. We win that battle straight away. So we actually take our first settlement, and because this is a Red Star unit, if you can see that, it is discarded. So that was a good start. And then we're having another potential battle here. It's a patrol. So what do we do for patrol? If the Argentine unit is a patrol, there's a small skirmish. Discard the patrol marker and roll a die. On a 1, 2 or 3, the British stack seizes movement that turn. On any other roll, the stack may keep moving. So we can potentially move on. Can't think where we were. So that stack's discarded, the patrol. Let me roll for this and I will check. We're coming to the end of the turn, so I'll make a note to check at the end. So it's a 3. the British stats Caesar's movement anyway. I couldn't remember whether I came from there or there. I think I was there, but I'm not sure. So I was going to check after the end of this turn and correct it, but no need. So yeah, not a bad turn at all. We managed to get 2 into air sector B, which will make that the target air sector next turn because of the number of stacks we've got. So movement over, reset. Out of supply units, turn back. The ships are there, the Harriers are back. And the warships we need to roll for again. Unfortunately, I think we're going to have a 5 and a 1. Let's put the battleground out there. And that one there. So we're now in, I'm just putting the locations down again. Location 8 for that stack, 10 for that stack, and 11. So we've got not many turns left, but we're still clinging on to the idea that we could do something, although you see the mountains will stop movement quickly on a lot of these as well. So and because the Argentine ships are still at sea, we turn over a stack, which this turn I want to get down there to take out that Pucara. So I'm going to turn this one over to out of supply. But we've still got most stacks in this area to make that the target air sector. Current plane, so it's the repair side. They've got 2 in there. Squalls, all planes still in their repair pools remain there and do not return to service. So that's good. So we've got a chance to take out some planes next turn. Pope and diplomacy markers out on map. Headlines. A 6. So this will be a new one as well. This is turn 14, so it's a 20. Now, this one is looking good. Buckingham Palace. This may successfully occur only once, so this is it. And only if the British have landed at San Carlos, and there are currently no British force in the San Carlos landing zone itself, there isn't. Politicians order the Scots and Welsh Guards at Ascension Island, fresh off public duties, into battle. Place both units in 1 or 2 British stacks of your choice, subject to these restrictions. They must be placed on any stack, may be placed on any stack of British ground units or in 2 different stacks if you prefer. For each unit landing, roll 1 die for that unit and add the number of British controlled ports anywhere on the map, marked with anchors. We have got one, we just took Darwin. Did we take one there? No, just 1. So we've got 2 settlements, but only 1. Then subtract the number of British planes in the air sector where the ground unit has been deployed. If the total is positive, subtract the total from the BBC News. So let's just do that. So we'll roll the die and then we'll roll a 2. We've got 2 ports, so we add that. So 2 plus 2 with 4. Then subtract the number of British planes in the air sector. Well, it doesn't matter where we're deploying them because there's no planes. So we take 4 off the news. But we do get these 2 into here. So we're going to put them in that stack there. Which may make that the target air sector. I'm not sure how out of supply works without looking at the rules, which we'll do next turn. So Buckingham Palace. That's a good one. Next one is the Calpa Logistics Force. Does this come into? If the British player controls any settlements, you may deploy or move the KLF unit, which I showed you last time. Well, we do control settlements now. We're just taking 2. Who am I going to put that with? I'm going to put it. These are on 11. These have got the furthest to go at the moment, so I'm going to put that there, which means when they're yomping, they can potentially move 3 places rather than 2. EEC NATO allies. So we roll to see which of our allies has done something. 6. Hopefully help us. US President Ronald Reagan tightens economic sanctions. Discard any one non-roundel A4 plane. Player's choice. The A4s, rather than they're all 4s. Yeah, I think pretty sure they're all 4s, the A4s. A4, 4, yeah. Got all the stuff. So we discard one, which is good. Get rid of another plane. Things are starting to swing our way a little bit, but it may be too late. We'll see. And we've got Pinochet's Revenge again. So, oh, sorry, we should have taken that off last time, wouldn't we? That should have gone, but we can now put it back. Now I'm going to put it there, because we're in Sector B now, so we need a bit of air superiority there. And that is the end of turn number 14. Sorry, end of turn number 30. No, and that's me, Mark. I'm even using a log and I'm still getting it wrong. It's the end of turn 13 and we're moving on to game turn 14 next time. So we're getting towards the end game. Let's see how close we can get to Stanley. Okay, thank you, and I will be back soon.